Okay, we are live here with Gauntlet Hangouts. We're playing Dungeon World. This is the third of fourth sessions of the Gaunt Marches that I'm running for August. I believe Richard just finished his last set of games last Sunday, and also Horst finished his game yesterday. And they were both really exciting, really fleshed out the world and gave us some more dangers for you guys to find. Tonight, we unfortunately are missing a player. I've got an idea for in-game why Yona might be missing, but hopefully Steven gets feeling better for next week and fitness for tomorrow so that he can do work and whatever else he's got going on in life. Brian will be with us in just a moment, and a reminder about our veils and lines. We have veils, so things that can happen but we don't want to see on screen. Sex and torture. And then as far as lines go, things that we just don't want to happen in the world. We don't want to hear about any kind of violence against children, sexual violence, or just like being a jerk about gender. No point. It's our fantasy world, so we're going to fantasize. And I think that's it. Of course, we've got the X card in play. If anybody needs that at any point, hold up your arms, turn on your mic, and yell, "Hey, hey, hey! Shut up, X card!" Again, like we've been playing for a couple weeks all together. I think we've got a pretty good groove, and we understand each other. One other reminder is, I like to play a very kind of top-down approach game, so if you want to have a specific scene, especially as far as like your character development goes, just say so and we'll make room for it in the fiction. If you're not liking the way that a combat's going, like you think it's too soft or too hard, just say, "Hey, I feel like you're being a jerk DM. Can you like slow it down a little bit and give us a little more information?" I'm totally okay with that because it's about us players having a fun time. Watching the TV show that we're kind of making up as we go. At the end of last session, we had a few contracts. One contract that got finished, and everybody got 150 gold each. So if you haven't added your coins in yet, go ahead and do so now. We also have an active kind of contract with a hag who appears randomly in the swamp for Ulf, specifically to bring back a vial of unicorn blood. He got the other two out of her magical realm with that, so they're kind of tied to it, but he's the one who's really on the hook for it as far as her point of view goes. I think we ended last session. Everybody spent a couple rations and walked back to town, and we were talking about doing a carouse move, so we'll probably open this session with that. Ryan and Greg, how about we do just real quick character introductions, and then hopefully by then Brian will be ready. So Ryan, let's start with you.
Ulf is a human itinerant hunter, which is kind of a cross between the hunter playbook and with a few pieces of other mixed in. I've taken detect trap from thieves, and lately he has been going in the direction of the compendium class monster hunter. He's starting to get some experience, some life experience behind him, and he has shifted. His personality is kind of going from where he was very anxious and very afraid of people and very afraid of civilization to where he's a bit brazen and reckless. And this carouse will it might be the most human interaction or intelligent creature interaction he's ever had in his life. So we'll see what happens here. Fights with a bow, fights with a spear, wears a big owlbear cloak, and he may create some other interesting item during this session.
Yeah, you just reminded me, your spear got left with that crocodile, didn't it?
Oh, you're right, yeah.
And was that was the +1 spear that you had gotten from Baklova, Is that right?
So it's becoming a thing now. I lose spears during sessions.
Okay, cool. Just that, yeah, mark that off if it's not already marked off.
Yeah, I did take it off. I just forgot that I'd lost it.
Also, I'll just add, so Ulf, he kind of mentioned this, but he's taken the Beast Crafter move. So he's going to be able to take pieces and parts of monsters when they're dead and fuse them together and try and create magical and wonderful items with them. So we'll see how those items go when he starts making them. Greg, will you remind us about Pahan and kind of the direction you're looking for him to go, if you have any idea?
I'm playing Pahan. Pahan is the wise old man playbook. Pahan is not a wise old man. Certainly old. Pahan is a changeling and rides Pathax, Pahan's turtle. It's a sort of the six-legged turtle that we've been sort of playing with the idea that Pahan has stolen a child of the world turtles. And how that all shakes out, we'll probably see in maybe even future Gaunt March episodes. And Pahan last session performed a ritual that sacrificed part of Pathax in order to sink all of the alligators that were attacking the party and to get them all away from the party. And yeah, some quick character changes that happened to Pahan. Pahan turned the key of the companion by sort of sacrificing Pathax, and I've picked the key of the cultivator. So now when I encourage an ally or NPC to exceed their boundaries and limits, or I do a steading, encourage a steading to do the same, that's one of the keys. And also Pahan leveled up. Hooray for Pahan! And has taken the I wasn't always an old man and picked a basic move from another playbook, and I have taken cast a spell from the mage playbook with the spell focus of the mask. Pahan is sort of a trickster character who likes to play tricks on townspeople and is sort of known throughout the Gaunt marches for that.
Awesome. I'm glad you brought it up. You reminded me. I wanted to take some HP away from Pathax permanently from that. I wondered if you thought taking 2 HP away would be fair, or if 1 HP made more sense to just permanently take as like a scarred ability.
Yeah, no, I'm good with 2. Let's do 2.
Cool. So I made the changes there on his on the NPC sheet, just so you don't have to worry about it.
And Pahan has also given Pathax its share of the loot from the Fey ordeal, and gave 20 gold to Pathax. Pathax eats gold, and like a follower takes gold as payment. Pathax eats gold, and it never comes back out.
Awesome. All right, looks like Brian's still getting set up, so let's go back over to Ryan.
I'm like 5 seconds away.
Oh, okay, cool. Whenever you're ready, then just introduce us to White Raven, remind us all what she looks like, what she's like, and if you've gotten any character ideas for her.
All right. Oops. Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
You're good.
Okay, so yeah, apologies to be a little late there. Yeah, so White Raven is a winter mage. Originally hails from in and around Ghost Bridge. Was exiled at a young age and raised in the north. She has now returned to the south. Her original quest was to confront the undead, and she stumbled into the hag's spa and was rescued by this group of adventurers. So has fallen in with them for the time being. But as far as I think I'm interested to see how she kind of handles still staying kind of true to her original quest, but also repaying the debt to this group and dealing with the fact that she is sort of on the hook for this contract as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, don't worry about being a couple minutes late. It happens to all of us once in a while. So, cool. I just put the coins, your share of the loot from last session, in your play sheet because I didn't see it in there yet. I wanted to ask you, did you take any time to look over those enameled coins you found previously?
Yeah, I was thinking that, when there was some downtime, probably would have looked at those as well as the knife.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you think that happened before you went into that Fey house, or do you want to do it during this session when we're in town?
We could do it in session. I mean, I think that I could say that the Fey house may have, I intended to do it that evening, but got distracted by the Fey house, and then it's been, a whirlwind since then.
Wow,
so.
Cool. All right, let's take a look at Ryan, because as you guys traveled, Ryan was starting to do some crafting with the rat tail, or the king's rat tail that he has. So will you just kind of skim the rule for all of us so we know what's going on, and then make your roll?
Yeah, so when I began crafting, let me just read it. Beginning the parts, the monster plus whiz plus, you make the GM for your item in addition to the normal attributes it would get for its type. 7 to 9, create 1 with the GM. 6 minus, create 1, but the GM also creates a drawback for its shoddy craftsmanship. So the item I'd like to craft with is the tail of a giant rat king that I brought from a previous adventure and different party in the Gaunt marches. And this creature was a giant rat, but also had many other creature arms sort of sprouting from its body in random places, sort of orthogonal to its regular skeleton. And the trait that I would really like to stick on this whip is some sort of sprout rat-like mutation, so that should I roll well enough, I could stick a rat tail on a critter or an NPC, or maybe some whiskers or some rat ears, or it grows fur where I hit it. I think that would be really interesting to play with.
Cool. Let's get that roll.
Okay, I'm going to go into roll for your party, and it's the first time I've used it. So 2d6, and it's a wisdom modifier. So it's +2. Submit. A 10. Sweet.
Awesome.
So 2 traits. So the one that I had mentioned, the sprout rat-like mutation. And I know you had mentioned that perhaps the other trait could be to remove the mutation, but I think it would be even more interesting if I didn't know how to get rid of it. So I think like a wrap or a prehensile grab would be the other move I'd like to put on the tail.
And then we said reach and precise, right?
Yeah, that would be good for Ulf, because he's just of average strength, but he is quite dexterous.
Perfect. Okay, so I put all those features in there for you. And when we've had a few days, and if you spent some time, we can do that to any of the other items you have as well. We can start crafting those. I think the Rat King tail, I think 2 days of, a little bit of time here and there while you're traveling is plenty for something like that. So Cool. So we're all in town. Yona excuses herself. She goes up to the inn where she's been staying, up to her fancy room, and she makes it pretty clear that she's going to spend some time by herself right now. So the rest of you, what are you guys doing now that you've met back up in town? I know you said you were meeting somewhere else than the inn, but what's the overall goal while you're here?
I'm really interested in the carouse move. I think Ulf has come to a point in his character development where he is. I mean, he's still going to be. There's a lot of emotion wrapped up around being in a civilized place around a lot of people, but I think he's ready to rush headlong into something like that. And another thought I had was it might be interesting to look for a follower as Ulf tries to decide how he's going to deal with this hag that he's made a bargain with. I think he's starting to think that he might need some skilled, a helper with a specific skill set.
Do you have in mind already what that skill set is?
I kind of have an idea. I would like someone who is far more charismatic than Ulf is, and who might be able to negotiate or even litigate or maybe even deceive on his part. So I was thinking, some sort of bard, or there was a lawyer playbook I found online that was interesting, but someone who I could really put to work working my case.
Cool.
Or are we looking for a fall person? Someone to take the heat if we can't deliver.
Yeah, I can see this barrister meeting with the hag now. Well, you see, you've never clearly stated what the contract was. Greg and Brian, what do you guys think? Do you guys all want to pitch in and carouse together, or because it takes 100 coins to get it started, and then you guys get a +1 for every 100 coins you add after that.
What is the state of Ghostbridge when we arrive?
When you guys get back to Goatsbridge, it looks pretty normal. Let's see. I'll probably say you get there early morning. It is not a big market day, but there's still stalls set out. Usually the big market day is the next day, which would be like a Saturday, the last day of the week. But there's nothing out of sorts when you get there immediately, like to your notice.
I think Pahan definitely wants to do the carouse, and I only hit my key if I really push it. So Pahan is looking for, delicacies and enjoyments beyond the ordinary. Whatever. This is the first time I've been to Ghostbridge in the game, so I'm not sure what has been established as possible in Ghostbridge.
Yeah, so I guess just a general description of Goatbridge. Then it's the largest town. This part, it is on a raised kind of island. You're fine. You're fine. It's on a raised island, separate from the swamp, although it borders the swamp on basically two sides. There's some farming village to the south and a little bit to the east, but the town itself has like palisade walls, nothing too strong, but it has defenses. I think we said there's about 1,000 people here, give or take, and it's kind of got a reputation as like a frontier sort of place. Even though there's towns and villages on every side, this is where the real like hardcore down and dirty go and get to make money people go.
Okay, then I think Pahan might be looking for, some strange betting opportunity or some, I don't know, blood sport or something. or like like a fight club or something to observe or participate in.
Okay. What are you thinking, Brian? Or do you want to participate in the carouse, or?
I will, and I think I'm going to be spending some time at the inn, whatever festivities are to be had there, and kind of my side motive is to keep an eye out for that innkeeper.
Cool. So it sounds like Ryan's putting in 100 coin to get started. Are the other two of you? Do you guys want to put in 100 coin each, or do you guys want to split up how much? Basically, here I'll read the.
I think it's a +1 for each extra 100. Is that right?
Yeah, for every 100 coins you spend, it adds 1 to your roll. If you are returning triumphant from a journey, which I think waving around the treasure you've got, yeah, you can claim that. And then +1 if you're well liked in these parts. You guys might be able to make an argument for that, but I don't think any of you have a particularly good reputation here. Not bad either, but
okay. Are we each, if we each throw on 100, I guess we would each roll, or is it one roll and then?
Yeah, it'll be one roll.
One roll. You want to split 50-50?
Up to you guys. I'm willing to throw down 100, but if I do, I'd like to reserve the right, if we miss, to make the choice.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly.
I mean, if you guys want,
I'd be fine splitting it evenly too. I mean,
okay,
we'll just take on a bunch of gold. I don't know what else.
Oh, split 200 among the three of us.
I was thinking 100 among the three of us. We could do 300 among the three of us. Whatever you guys want to do.
it's all the same to me. I honestly don't believe that we're going to come by unicorn blood with gold. No. Because the hag didn't have it, and she had all the gold in the world. So gold doesn't seem too useful to me at this point. So I'm down to throw in 100, or we can go thirds, or whatever you guys want, or I can just throw in the 100, and you guys can save your money.
I don't think Bahan has any attachment to money, so I'll throw in 100 just as Bahan.
I think White Raven is the same way.
Okay.
Let's have a good time.
Cool. Ryan, why don't you roll that for us then?
Okay, so now it is a +2.
So 1 because you guys are returning triumphant, and 1 from Pahan's extra 100. And Brian, you didn't put in an extra, right?
No, I will. I'll throw in an extra.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be a +3. Yeah.
So much responsibility on this small fortune I'm about to roll. All right.
Spectacular one way or the other.
Big money. 13. All right.
All right. Let's see. Why does not my thing doesn't have the whole full move here?
I think you choose 3.
Yeah, I believe so. So why don't you guys narrate this party that you guys are throwing, and then each of you can kind of name which of the options you want to get, and then we'll role play that if it seems appropriate. So let's start with Greg. What's the part of the party that you're throwing?
So Pahan is sort of changed himself into a sort of a more appropriate party-going appearance. Someone younger, someone a little more better looking, and really starts to slam down a whole bunch of gold at the bars, and gets himself into a little bit of a brawl, but nothing unfriendly, and gets tossed out and is sort of going around in the back, and perhaps discovers something. The one I want to hit on the carouse is you're not tricked, ensorcelled, or otherwise waylaid, or whatever it is. So maybe encounters someone evil but sort of off their guard in the back, and pushes them over or plays a trick on them in some way. Maybe deceives them and leads them away, and then leaves them in the middle of the forest, you know, naked or something.
You know, let's he's been a scapegoat for these kinds of things in the past. Let's say it's Old Tom. So Old Tom is the blacksmith, and he is notorious for being a drunk around town. And perhaps he's the one you get in the scuffle with, because he's always trying to prove that he's just as strong as young Tom, who happens to be his apprentice. No relationship. And so you want to like kind of embarrass him, like tie him to a tree naked or something like that outside?
No, maybe like he's a blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I challenge old Tom to some sort of blacksmithing competition in the middle of the night, and use some sort of deceiving magic to make it look like I am a wondrous, amazing blacksmith, and then leave him with this beautiful sword that he could sell, and it just sort of disappears away in some cabinet when he's not looking.
Yeah, he locks it away in his chest, thinking, "Oh, I'll wait until the people from Eelton come in town," and then we cut like to a week later, and he opens the chest, and it's just like a stick. Lovely. All right, Brian, what did you have? Or I'm going to start calling you guys by your character name. White Raven, what did you have in mind for your part of the party that you're throwing?
So I think White Raven just uses gold to throw a big party at the inn, kind of open bar, and lots of music and dancing and singing, and just getting everyone really loaded. But maybe impressing them with some her chilled drinks, and she is at the same time on the lookout for the innkeeper.
Oh, okay, so you are doing it at the inn.
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
Okay, so is the option you're going here, are you trying to like make an ally or a friend out of him? Because you're spending all this coin in his inn?
Or someone close to him. So it could be someone that has access to him.
Okay.
Maybe the other innkeeper. I think there was a day and a night shift, so maybe I go during the other shift.
There's also a gain useful information as an option.
Yeah, I guess it could be the gain.
Are you just trying to figure out whether or not
I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident he's a homunculus, so I think I'm just trying to get myself an opening. So maybe I want the other innkeeper as an ally.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll play that out in a minute. Cool. Let's hear from Ulf. What does your part of the party look like?
All right, so Ulf finds the liveliest bar, tavern, in wherever, just the biggest, noisiest, most brightly lit. And he goes and sits in the corner, and at first he's brooding. Maybe he's like, he's under his hood, he's smoking pipe leaf and doesn't know really what to do, but he starts drinking pretty heavily. And at some point he works up the nerve to approach a musician, someone who is kind of the center of attention, and say, hey friend, I maybe you could help me with something. I have a bunch of coin, and I really don't know what's the best way to spend it in this bar, but I want to have a good time, and I want everybody else to have a good time. And the person that I approach like that knows exactly what to do, and starts throwing money around, gets me a lot of positive attention. I drink like 10 drinks too many, and I am just completely, I'm not incapacitated, but I'm pretty much blackout on my feet at some point in the night. Maybe I end up sleeping under a table, but it's cool because I spent a ton of money. No one's going to kick me out.
Yeah, definitely. I think the first thing he would ask when when you gave him the money and suggested that he start helping you spend it was, what do you prefer, men or women?
Ulf's completely embarrassed and taken aback by that, and he can't even answer the question. And
he's like, it's okay. I'll have enough for both of us. He kind of winks at you. And then at some point in the night, we get a shot of him like arms around a couple of women and kind of like a smaller framed man like rubbing his feet as you are blackout drunk sitting, at the table with all of them, but like completely not there. Cool. Let's go and do a little bit of role play here with White Raven. Give me a few seconds to look up to make sure. I thought we had a name for the innkeeper. I'm having trouble finding it. Give me a second. I can't find it. I guess we're going to make it up then. So let's say the one that you have an inkling that he is the homunculus is named Boris. And it's actually his sister-in-law who runs the night shift. What should we name her? A good, maybe like an Eastern European name or a German name. Anything come to the top of your mind?
About Anna.
Anna? Cool. All right. So yeah, you. What do you say to Anna? I mean, you're spending coins, so she's going to talk, and she's kind of a bigger woman. She's got like, what do you call them? Not the pigtails, but they like come back around. Dark hair, like maybe a dark chestnut brown or something. And so, yeah, what do you say to her to start getting her on your side?
I think maybe I'm showing her some new drinks that are popular in the north, and kind of complimenting her skill both in the kitchen and behind the bar. And I say. The drinks are always best when you're working.
Oh, you flatter me. You know I'm married. And she holds up. She's just got like a string on her finger. It's a pretty string. It's like pink, but it's just a string. What are you drinking tonight? The beer or the hard stuff?
The hard stuff.
Yeah, she'll set before you a glass. Do you want that on the rocks?
No need. And then just kind of like the cup kind of chills as I grab it. And say, is that a tradition in the South? A sign of marriage?
Oh, no. My deadbeat husband he can't afford anything more.
What would you have if he could afford it?
Oh, something like that over there. And she points to one of the jewels on one of these women who's fawning themselves over the minstrel. She's got a pretty big stone on there, like ruby colored.
Say, and how many gold pieces would something like that cost? I really have no concept of such things.
Oh, how much coin? I suppose. I don't know. 50 coin for a rock that big? But I don't even know what I'd do with it. I'd probably be losing it in the soup all the time. I'd have to go around to each of the people in the house and make sure they weren't stealing it from me.
Yes, it could be a burden, but someday I'm sure you'll have it. say, is there a particular color or type that you're fond of?
Oh, I've always loved the emeralds. They match my eyes.
That would be quite striking.
Now, for fiction's sake, that chest wasn't just full of like coins. Do you think you have one of these emeralds in there? You could just pull out for her.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I probably White Raven doesn't have much experience with gems, so she kind of pulls one out and says like, something like this.
Oh goodness! Don't go flashing that around here. And she like scoots you down to the end of the bar, and she's like, "What are you going making offers like that? I can't be seen flirting with a woman. I'm a married man or a married woman."
It's not flirting. I just it would make me. You would appreciate it more than I would.
What's the catch?
No catch. I'm just new to town and looking to make friends.
Well, you got one in me, and you got one in. You've got a room in the inn as long as you want. I'll tell me brother-in-law. She'll take that stone from you, tuck it in her apron, and pour you like 5 more drinks right away. Line them up.
Say, do you and your brother-in-law share a room then?
Heavens no. I stay down the way. He stays upstairs.
I see. Well, if you don't mind, I probably would prefer a room upstairs as well.
Absolutely. I'll give you the biggest one we have. It's right next door to his.
That would be perfect.
Cool. Anything else you want to get out of the scene?
No, I think that's it.
That was a new accent for me. I came in and I feel pretty okay with that. All right. Cool. So the party's going great. You guys wake up the next morning. Because of Greg's choice, you're not going to get into any like overall trouble out of this. You've got a new ally and some information on the innkeeper, and I'm thinking let's do we could do a scene or just a kind of a quick talk with Ulf and this minstrel. What do you? He's going to absolutely offer you his services if you're bringing that kind of coin around. He wants to tag along. But what kinds of things do you want to talk to him about before you make a deal?
So here's the idea I had is that I get drunk and I just spill my entire, maybe not my life story, but definitely what's going on right now. In over our heads, we did manage to kill some giant crocodilians, and we're very formidable. The minstrel loved that because he is all about, epic heroes, tales, and ballads. He immediately, impromptu sang a song on the spot of it. And then as I got drunker, I got maybe a little despondent and said they're probably going to die in the next few days, or even worse, I'll be my life force will be captive to turn a wheel at a witch's bathhouse or something horrible like that. And unless I can come up with unicorn blood. And I think the minstrel is all in at this point. He's also, maybe he's a little brazen and reckless, and he wants to see how this story unfolds because maybe he wants to record it, to write about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm totally on board with all that. So I guess when we have our first break, I'll make the minstrel and name him and such, unless you have something off the top of your head you want to say, and then I'll put him in the NPC tab.
No, that's good.
Cool. All right, so it's the morning after the party. Pathax, where did you end up sleeping?
So I think after Pahan has this sort of blacksmith competition thing with, what was it, Old Tom?
Yep.
Or Big Tom?
Old Tom, yeah.
Old Tom, yes. So has this sort of thing with Old Tom, gets a little sad, goes up and starts knocking on what Pahan believes to be Yona's door, going, Yona, Yona, we're having so much fun. Why aren't you having fun with us too? And then just sort of falls asleep. And it's actually not Yona's room at all. It's possibly, is there another inn? Maybe there's just the one inn. Maybe it's even the room that White Raven has picked up at the inn is just asleep on the floor in front of the room, and wakes up with a big smile.
Yeah, I see you kind of like laying on Pathax, like over his back. Now, do you keep your youthful form after you're drunk, or does it fade by the time you wake up?
I think by the time I wake up, it has faded. Yeah, and back to whatever the base Pahan, sort of scraggly old gnome man from the swamp.
Cool. All right, so White Raven, are you gonna do anything that night, or are you gonna wait until you're sobered up, and because you're in the room next to the innkeeper?
I think she will spend some time kind of with her ear to the wall, seeing if she hears anything. But she's not gonna bust the door open.
Sure. Just because you're drunk, can we get a discern realities at a -1?
It's a 3.
Okay. So you've got your ear pressed against the wall. You're like the audience sees you like, and you're probably like even drooling a little bit. You maybe even have a bottle still in your hand. Like you got pretty excited that you got the room next to the innkeeper. And you're not hearing anything on the wall, so you open up the wardrobe, and you're like fiddle or like fussing and moving around the wardrobe. You hear banging on the door and shouting for what's her name? Your other
Yona,
friend.
yes.
Yeah, for Yona. Yona! Shh. And then as you're fishing through this wardrobe, then you hear it. You hear, Master, who did you let know? Someone is listening. And then there's kind of like this eerie, chilling noise, and you feel the tingling on the back of your neck, and then I think you pass out shortly after that. So, fear's confirmed, but no chance to take advantage of it now. So as the hangovers set in for all of you, and you guys are kind of coming to, what's the plan here?
I think Pahan wakes up before everyone else, makes the way downstairs, maybe has breakfast before going back upstairs, poking White Raven awake, having realized that it's actually White Raven's room. And then, I don't know, maybe we're looking for Ulf. Maybe Ulf has wandered off with the minstrel somewhere. We need to go find Ulf.
Yeah, Ulf, were you just downstairs in this inn, or were you somewhere else around town?
I was wherever the biggest party was, so maybe it was this inn? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably it was this inn because, White Raven lit it up pretty quick. Drinks on the house all night, so.
So, no, I think Ulf is just there with the minstrel downstairs. He got drunk and slept under the table, but he's young. And maybe he's got a beer for breakfast and some bacon and eggs, and he and the minstrel just like hanging out. having breakfast, getting ready to go.
I think Bahan is very curious about this new member of our party, this minstrel. Is sort of interrogating the minstrel about what songs the minstrel knows, and if the minstrel has ever been to, a market of the undead, has ever seen such a wondrous place.
Oh, I've seen all kinds of wondrous things, all in my mind. I'll sing you about one. And he just like goes straight into it. I'll tell you a tale of undead markets, of places you'd ever want to go.
Do we want to head out towards the undead market? Is that the best shot we have at actually securing some unicorn blood?
I'm thinking to pick up the trail. That was my thought, unless we think that somehow getting leverage on the innkeeper through his homunculus would be a better idea of gaining information or picking up a trail. I don't know much about their backstory at all, though.
The innkeeper is the homunculus, so we don't know who the master is. Is the innkeeper like working? Is he still around, or is it Anna?
Yeah, he's doing the morning shift, so he'll be the one serving you guys your bacon and eggs and your beer for breakfast and all that.
Probably would try to subtly caution everyone, and maybe we should find a different breakfast establishment.
Always so picky about the food.
I
know it's no Fey spa, but
So I think well, maybe we're kind of like discussing in hushed tones around the table. I don't. So this innkeeper has been attracting dark things to the town, and if we leave him here and then come back to find the town has been destroyed, that would be on our conscience.
And if we don't get any unicorn blood, something very bad is going to happen to Ulf. This is a minor point. I think Pahan drunkenly bought a boomerang, so I'm gonna just take the coins off for that. Pahan just has a boomerang, doesn't remember where, but he has a boomerang now. I'm spending the 10 for the boomerang.
Lovely. That's great. So it sounds like White Raven would like to attempt to assassinate this homunculus before you leave town. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with the three of us having the job on him, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. I think it's just kind of, undead servant type thing. It's not like he's that powerful. Well, could be wrong.
What are the other, so kind of table talk, what do the other two of you think of that? Do you want to try and pull that off this evening, and maybe you can do a little bit of shopping or something this afternoon?
But are we alone in the room with him right now? Like, he's serving us breakfast. It's the morning. Inns aren't usually or at least bars aren't very busy in the morning.
The inn is actually fairly busy. This is where most of the adventuring type kind of stay. There's the largest table in the room has like scratch marks and such from lots of adventuring parties that they've said, oh, there's this here, there's this here. So it's for people like you who don't really have a home in town, this makes it pretty busy even in the morning.
I could make it unpleasantly cold in here. See if that.
I don't see what's so wrong with this this barkeep. Why must we go out of our way to murder someone that hasn't done anything to us?
Well, he's this construct of a necromancer, and he's attracted a demon here in the past.
The minstrel's gonna be like, wait, you guys are talking about doing this right now? Just in broad daylight? You can't just kill a man in broad daylight. Not here in Coatesbridge. People will hear. They'll come for you.
Okay, then yeah, let's not do it right here, right now.
Fair enough. If we need to get on the road, then maybe the next time we're in town, we can deal with this, and we'll hope there still is a town that has been overrun by undead and demons.
If he's here serving breakfast, that means the room that he was in last night would be empty.
And thankfully, whatever contract we negotiated with the hag has no particular expiration date. So if you want to wait until the evening, I mean...
Would it make you feel any better if I went and snuck around the room to see if we could gather some more information on this thing?
That works. Perhaps I'll join you, as I've dealt with him before, or at least his creations.
Or we could go in the room and wait for it, and the minstrel could send it up after us in 5 minutes.
It's not a bad plan.
Does this make me officially part of the group?
Yeah,
10%.
as long as you're down with planning the murder of a of a man that you know.
Oh, I mean, he doesn't pay fairly. He only pays 5 gold a night, and then whatever I can get off the drunks. I'm okay if he goes away.
I'll see to it that Anna lets you play here anytime you like.
Can't promise you'll survive the adventure, but I will promise to make it as interesting as I can figure out how to.
Cool. So it sounds like you guys are going to go ambush him in his room when the minstrel sends him up in about 5 minutes. Is that the plan?
I think that's their plan.
This is very well thought out. Yeah.
Is this possibly a time where I could try and hit the move of those who study history and try and remember a little bit more about homunculi and if this has been a problem in the past?
Sure. Yeah.
Dangers they might encounter with the homunculi?
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. Go ahead and roll for us.
Okay, so that's an 8, and so I choose 1. So I'm sort of thinking back to perhaps a homunculus that Pahan discovered about somewhere in the swamp, just sort of ambling about, and I remember something dangerous about the homunculus.
Okay. The dangerous thing you remember about the homunculus is that it has the capability of being like a direct conduit or a vessel for the mind of the necromancer. And so even by just coming face to face with a homunculus, you risk the necromancer knowing you and some of your tactics and your abilities and such.
All right, so Pahan just reaches out and grabs Ulf's arm, perhaps as he's about to go upstairs and begin this whole trap thing, and goes, "You're already marked once, Ulf. To be marked twice. I don't know if that's a life of adventure or a life that's shortly about to end."
We had a saying amongst the other young scouts where I was growing up, and the better your enemies, the bigger you are. We also said that twice marked makes you cool.
So is the plan to have Ulf just sort of sit in the corner and take a pot shot? Is that the plan? Are you, because I will say Pahan has no interest in going upstairs and engaging in combat with the homunculus. Pahan's just not built for such things. So perhaps Pahan could try and obfuscate your appearance from the homunculus.
Sure, I thought I would actually hide against the door. Maybe the homunculus could see White Raven when he walks in, and then I could try to take it from behind and incapacitate it.
Okay, so maybe I need to disguise White Raven to not be quite so obvious, so we don't get White Raven in even more trouble.
What are necromancers afraid of?
Ooh. Well, White Raven, you seem to have more experience with these things than either of us do.
Well, so fire, perhaps? I don't know.
Necromancers fear death most of all. It is, after all, why they go through such pains. But to disguise you as death itself might be quite the feat.
Yeah. Death coming and calling for all the souls that have been wronged.
I think those are both very good answers for what a necromancer might fear. Yeah.
Okay, so I think what was yours again, White Raven?
I just said we had good success lighting stuff on fire in the past.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna try and cast a spell sort of around White Raven that just sort of cloaks her in these sort of billowing, wispy smoke that sort of falls to the ground, and her face just appears as like a ball of fire. I'm going for sort of a death mask, but fiery death kind of thing.
I assume this is going on upstairs, probably in White Raven's room beforehand, or?
Yes, to sort of prep her before she goes up and attempts this ambush.
All right, go ahead and roll cast a spell.
That's a 6. Is there any way we could do an aid?
Cast a spell is kind of a hard one to aid with.
Yeah, it is. We'd sort of need an NPC.
Okay, so this is what's going to happen. So you're in the room, and as you start to make her appear fiery, some of these embers fall to the ground, and Pahan, you probably even say like, "Oh, it just looks like they're catching fire," but pretty quickly you realize this is real fire. So you guys have effectively lit the room you're in on fire. What are you doing?
Well, you're the winter wizard.
I guess I'll try to, freeze it.
Okay. Is that a specific move, or are you kind of like?
I'm gonna have a freeze move, so it's just directing that at whatever surface is on fire. I guess the theory being, if it's frozen, it's not going to burn very well.
Okay.
So it would be to roll my freeze.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll that. I'm just looking at the move here, because that's the one that you used to lock the crocodile in place, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could do Winter Wonderland, where I just make it snow in here. That might... I mean...
Yeah, let's have... I think the Winter Wonderland makes more sense, because the other one, like...
Yes, like... Okay.
Yeah.
Well... Let's... Yeah, I don't think there's a roll for that. I think I just make it snow.
You just make it snow?
So I can just, I mean, it's now, it can snow even indoors, but I think, maybe to make it interesting, maybe it's, not just localized in this room. So it's now snowing in Goat Bridge.
Yeah, that I like that. So specifically centered over the inn, kind of the whole area is like there's this freak snowstorm, and indoors it's thick enough. We'll say you could put out the embers between you guys stomping on it, and
Just like open a window and like gusts of snow come through.
yeah. Cool. So that danger down. However, a lot of attention on the inn right now. So still following through with breaking into this room.
I mean, do we have a choice? Our minstrel is about to turn them away. I'm gonna hide behind the door.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I will hide in a pile of snow.
Are you guys going into his room, or are you waiting in your room?
In his room.
Okay, so let's play this out a little bit closer detail. So you guys are opening the door. How are you opening the door? It's locked.
Is it just a wooden door? Or
Yeah, it's a wooden door, metal handle.
what if we? So on my room, is there any kind of how difficult would it be to go out my window and then in his window directly next to mine?
I'd say there's probably 10 feet between the two. It's like those Norman-style houses, though. So you've got the pieces of wood that are hanging off the. So you might be able to walk along that, but it would require a roll for the two of you who are going into the room.
Are there people below who would see this? Obviously.
Let's say that side is towards the alleyway, so it's less likely, but no guarantee.
I could make that move. And White Raven, you could wait for him to walk in the room, unlock his own door, and then just follow in behind him when you hear it. So you wouldn't have to make that move.
I could also just use the wind to attack him. But yeah, that works. I'm thinking maybe what I'll do is wait for him to open the door and then try to hit him with a gust of ice wind from like that's conjured behind him and just throws him into the room.
Just for bookkeeping sake, I think Pahan and Pathax are in the next door room, having no longer been able to sort of get away from this before it goes down. We're sort of stuck next door trying to formulate our next plot.
Cool. All right, so the plan as I hear it is White Raven, you're waiting behind your door. As soon as you hear him go in, you're going to burst around and attack him with wind or whatever, right? And then Ulf, you're outside, kind of climbing along the edge, going to his window now before he comes. Let's get a dexterity roll from Ulf.
I just closed the window. Hang on, I'm pulling it back up.
Oh, no worries.
Here we go. 36 plus 2. As 6.
Is that
right?
plus 1 to your, or plus 2 to your dex?
Yeah, plus 2. I thought I did that, but maybe not. I'm kind of new to the roll for your party window. 2 3s with no modifier, so I guess that is plus 2. So an 8.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because you have to type in the modifier every time if you want to use that.
Gotcha.
Cool. So yeah, you will be able to get across to unlatch the window. You're either going to have to spend some kind of adventuring gear to like pop the latch open, or you're going to have to break the window making some noise.
I'll spend the use of adventuring gear. We'll stay quiet.
Sounds good. Cool. So we are going to go to break as we see Ulf slide into this room. It's dark. There's he left some candles burning, very low though. And the light emitted from the candles is kind of a green. And Ulf, you catch a really foul stench. And let's cut there. We'll come back after a 5-minute bio break.
Sounds good. I'm just gonna shout out. I switched out my flags for keys. I hope that's okay. And if you guys want to peek at them during the break, you can.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we'll take a look. You know what? Let's make it 7 since I've got to make that character real quick too. All right, see you guys. I've got 7:29 my time.
Hey, Greg, did you say you're in Austin?
Yeah, I live just north of Austin, Georgetown.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm in Austin. I'm down southeast at 290 and 35 in the San Elmo neighborhood.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm usually I'm across the river at the Long Center a lot. I think that's probably still north of where you're at.
Yeah, a little bit north, but that's definitely my neighborhood. I'm over at the Springs or Zilker Park 2 or 3 times a week, especially in the heat.
Hmm. Very cool. We'll have to. I know there's more than just us as Gauntleteers in Austin. We'll have to do something at some point.
Yeah, I'd love to explore possibilities of getting an in-person game going. I know there's that map, the Google My Maps. There were 1 or 2 people. I mean, there's only maybe a dozen people that I saw in the whole world that have actually put a pin in the map, but 1 or 2 of them are in Austin.
Sorry, I've got them almost all made. I just need to give them a name. Cool. All right, so if you guys want to take a look at him, he's on the followers. He's the purple one. Roru the Remarkable. I'll look for a picture later. I'm imagining him just like the typical minstrel, though, like tights, ridiculous hat, feathers, puffy sleeves, you know. Sorry, the cost is kind of long, but basically he wants to prove that he's better than his brother. That's his, like, what he's going to ask you guys to provide for him regularly. His instinct is to give in to greed, which is probably why he jumped on board with you guys so quickly. And then the rest of it, I think, is pretty, pretty self-explanatory. I'll give him 6 HP for now. If he like goes down in 1 hit, we may rethink that. But for now, I think that's what we'll do it at.
Did I have a chance to recover HP from the crocodilian fight?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to tell you. The two days of travel, you guys can re up on your HP and stuff.
That's good since we're about to face down, you know, a necromancer's homunculus. Gonna be.
Unless you really want to punch that reckless key hard. Okay, so last we saw, Ulf had just slid into this room with green candlelight and found a pretty foul stench. There's a snowstorm going on outside. Luckily, that did not affect his climb out the window. Pahan is in the room next door, and White Raven is in the room just next door. So let's zoom in on Ulf for a minute. What are you doing as you enter this room?
The light's weird. The smell's weird. I'm gonna reach out with my senses, see if I can figure out why does it stink, why are the candles green, and you just look around generally to get the lay of the land. Where's the furniture? Which way the doors swing, so I can quickly jump into action.
Sounds like a discern realities, just kind of for the room, and then I'll give you the layout of the room. That's not part of the rule. So.
10.
All right. So you landed by the foot of his bed, so that's immediately to your right. The room is maybe like 12 or 14 feet square. Directly in front of you, there's a wardrobe, kind of mirroring the wardrobe that is in White Raven's room. The candles are on a small table that's near the bed, and on the far corner from you, there's a pile. And with this light and from this far away, it's hard to tell what exactly that is.
All right. I'm sorry, I rolled what? A 10?
Yeah, so you've got 3 questions as you move around the room.
3 questions. What here is not what it appears to be.
Let's go for that right away. Yeah, so you follow the smell, and the smell leads to the wardrobe. And as you open the wardrobe, there's body parts like hanging on hooks in there.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it is.
What happened here recently?
You can see some marks on the ground that have been kind of walked over and kicked, like salt circles and runic designs and such. It seems that he was communing more directly than the necromancer would usually be able to do, just anytime. But he was communing more directly with him last night than normal.
What is useful or valuable?
What is useful to valuable? Next to the candles, there's some scrolls in that you could shove in your bag. They're nothing that you'd be able to decipher, especially in this low light, but you get the feeling you probably wouldn't be able to read them anyways. But you would guess they're pretty important.
All right. I would like to shove all those candles off the table onto the ground and duck behind the door so that I'm hidden by the door when he opens it.
Cool. So you'll be on the same wall as the wardrobe. Straight in front of you is that pile of like clothes and junk. And so when he swings the door, it'll come like this against you, right?
All right.
Cool. All right. So a few minutes pass. You hear trotting in the hallway. Pahan, you hear it first. Are you doing anything?
I think Pahan is going to make sure that is actually the barkeeper, just by sort of the gate, and then as he passes, just sort of poke a head out so that if anything does happen, Han knows about it very quickly. Because the plan was to sort of shove him in there quickly with the wind, but if that doesn't happen or it goes south, Pahan's gonna have to pull something out of his bag of tricks.
Cool. So yeah, you poke your head out, and he probably hears the door creak, and he looks back and he says, "Oh, hey, I didn't realize we'd rented that room. How was your night's stay? I heard it was a party last night."
I had quite the good time. Quite the good time. I was just trying to find my turtle. You have a lovely day. And I just closed the door.
Cool. White Raven, are you doing that? You hear the voice. It sounds like the innkeeper, so.
I think you're muted.
Sorry. White Raven's hiding and waiting for the right moment to when she hears the doorknob turn for his door, she's going to kind of poke her head out and call the wind.
Cool. All right, so you guys hear the lock click. You hear some muttering as well. And not Ryan, Ulf, you feel a sudden chill kind of go away that you didn't realize was with you. Maybe it was a trap or something, some kind of seal put on the doorway. And as he turns the door handle and you hear it start to creak open. Let's give White Raven, since you said you were waiting for that moment, what are you wanting to do here?
This White Raven is going to call forth a hail of wind and ice and hail that just hopefully hits him in the back and sends him sprawling into the room. And that is the Diamond Blizzard move.
Cool. Yeah. So you pop out of the room and go ahead and roll that.
And she's gonna, as she pokes her head out, she's going to say, "Snow thy enemy," and then she calls forth the.
I didn't want to say it. I'm so glad you kept that move. I know you were considering dropping, but I'm so glad it's still around.
All right. I'm going to clear these dice because there's a lot going on here. All right, so that is an 8 on the Diamond Blizzard roll. So on a 7 to 9, you affect more than you wanted to. Either someone else is hit or you blow away something you did not mean to. The GM tells you what happens.
Okay.
But it's a forceful piercing to attack.
Awesome. And so go ahead and roll your damage as well. All right. So yeah, you shout, "Snow thy enemy," and it's like the blizzard is coming out of your hands. And it looks pretty odd because if you remember right, you are actually like a fire being in appearance right now. And so this snow kind of like bursts and it like rushes around, forces him into the room. How much damage did you do?
6.
6. Okay. It slams him into the door hard enough that the door actually comes off its hinges as well. And so, Ulf, you're going to take the damage from this blizzard as well. And remember, it's piercing 2. The forceful is going to go on the door, but the piercing will apply to you.
So what is that? What roll is that? 1d6?
Well, you just take the 6, the same amount of damage you dealt to the necromancer.
Okay.
Cool. I think knocking him on the ground like that, you probably still have the jump on him, Ulf. What do you want to do?
I would like to take the rat tail whip and wrap it around his neck and mouth so that he cannot speak. And if I were to tighten it, that he could not breathe.
Cool. So this sounds probably like a defy danger with Dex.
Okay. An 8.
All right, yeah, so you get it into that position that you're talking about. It's around probably 3 or 4 wraps, and then like part of it is over his mouth. So if he were to try and speak, it would not like be understandable. Definitely not able to use any somatic spells, right? The downside is he grabs a hold of this this whip with his hand, and he starts pulling you closer. And so before you know it, you're within like 2 or 3 feet of him.
Just because it's going to take a second
Yep.
for Pahan to do it, I want to go for the changeling move and turn Pahan into Anna, the innkeeper's sister-in-law. So that's let me hit that real quick.
Yeah, good forward thinking. Sorry, I paused there because I'm trying to decide what the next best thing to happen is.
I was going to say is White Raven probably, I mean, something may happen before this. White Raven's probably, after the gust of wind is following into the room.
Okay. Do you have your...
Yeah, with my axe.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was going to ask. Greg, what'd you get?
I got an 11. The disguise is perfect.
Sweet. I expect you to do the voice and everything. I'm just kidding. All right, so yeah, as White Raven rushes into the room, you catch that stench as well. And Ulf, what are you most worried about? Why do you think he's drawing you close?
I think he can communicate some sort of damage or disease or poison through touch. I don't want him to touch me.
Okay, so yeah, as he's got you closer now, he starts to reach for you. What are you doing?
I'm gonna. I want to yank on the whip with the idea to spin him away from me like a top.
Sweet. I think that's dexterity based because you're trying to get it off real quick, right? Or is this quick thinking? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, if you ask me, I'm probably gonna want to roll the one with a better modifier.
Yeah, I think it's dexterity again. I was trying to find a way that it wouldn't be, but yeah, that just sounds what it is. So
I mean,
go ahead and high danger again.
You can make it strength. All right, next. It's a 9. No, 8. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't.
Well, whether it's an 8 or a 9, you're
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. All right, so yeah, you spin him. He lands on his bed, kind of like face down, but his mouth is free now, and he starts speaking, and he says, "Don't you know who I am? Don't you know?" And then his eyes start glowing green, and the wardrobe bursts open, and all these arms are now kind of like glowing and starting to reach for you. What are you doing, right, White Raven?
Are they like crawling across the ground, or are they levitating the arms?
They've just started kind of like swinging. Yeah, they're not like floating or anything, but you get the impression that they're going to have to like crawl once they get out of the wardrobe.
I think it's gonna try to finish this quick with another burst of frozen air. Just try to kill him before these arms become a problem. So she steps into the room and kind of channels more of the ice wind, and she says, "Allow me to break the ice." And she throws a big gust at him.
Cool. Let's see your roll.
Okay, that was a 9.
So is this the same thing as last time? It affects much more. Okay. Yeah, you're in a very small space, right? And so the ice starts swirling around you, and like the icicles start pelting him. It's also pelting this wardrobe, and so the wardrobe bursts and crumbles. How much damage do you do to him?
I'm gonna take dice. 7.
Ooh, wow. One of the icicles pierces like straight through the side of his skull. Like laughing, he's like, "Loamates, he won't die if you kill this mortal form." And with the wardrobe burst and broken, these arms are like grabbing. I think one of them even already has Ulf's leg, and the others are starting to crawl towards you. I
think at this point, Pahan, now disguised as Anna, has made her way down the hallway, holding possibly like some sort of lantern, because it's cold and suddenly snowy outside. And maybe has called down to Roru to sort of muffle the noise of whatever's going on. You know, Roru, play one of those winter songs you love so much. And it's gone down and turns and just goes, oh, brother, brother. I'm trying to snap the homunculus part, like whatever exists that is the brother, back out of the necromancer and sort of cause some sort of disturbance between the magical connection.
Okay, let's get a command follower first for you calling down the stairwell to Roru.
Sure. Is that a roll plus loyalty?
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's just loyalty 1, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a 6.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, he starts as loud as he can, but people are hearing the noise upstairs. There may be some visitors soon. Let's have the other roll for you, because I'm thinking you would probably have enough time to run down the hall real quick before that goes too bad. So yeah, you turn the corner into the room and you're trying to fake him out, like
yeah, sort of. I'm trying to, whatever part of the actual brother-in-law is in there to sort of break whatever the necromancer's connection is, and give my companions a little bit of time to really finish this off.
Yeah, let's have you roll plus your charisma.
And that's a 10.
Cool. Yeah, so he's like in the middle of his speech about Loabates and the invincibleness of the necromancer's power and the vastness of his mind, and then the green light flickers and fades for a moment. The hand that was on Ulf's leg loosens. They're still moving, but it's not like quite as tight of a grip here. So you can hear people like downstairs starting to like shout and wonder what all the banging's about and where this freak storm came from. You maybe even hear like the one with the white eyes from downstairs. What are you guys doing?
I think suddenly you hear Pahan's voice out of Anna. Just finish it quickly.
So this homunculus is still alive, or does breaking the connection with the necromancer kill it?
It seems I'm gonna, table talk. You know it's still in there, even though like its connection was weakened with the necromancer. Like these arms are still moving and stuff, and the necromancer wouldn't be able to do that just from afar. He's got to have some kind of conduit to use that kind of magic here in the room.
I'm going to yell to Ulf. There's a phylactery at the center of its chest. If you can destroy that, it might die.
The center of its physical chest, like its ribs?
Yes. So it's got it has a star in its chest, and in the center of that star is a glass phylactery.
Okay. I don't want to touch it. Let me dig for a piece of adventuring gear and pull out an unlit torch. And I want to take the torch and just blunt force trauma, try to drive it into this thing's chest where I was told this thing's phylactery would be.
Cool. Yeah, that's a hack and slash.
All right. That goes terribly. That's a 2.
Okay. A couple things are going to happen here. So you get your torch out real quick, and you're jabbing down, and he's shouting because it's what did we say his name was? Byron? Anyway.
Horace?
He's shouting. Horace, thank you. He's like, no, it's just me. And then you stab it, and you hear the shattering. You're going to take a debility. I think probably your wisdom, I think you're going to be like confused and like freaked out from this, right? Also, these arms before you get the thing in, these arms are going to strike both you and White Raven. Ulf, you were surrounded by a couple more of them, so I want you to roll a d4 plus 4, and then White Raven roll a d4 plus 2.
I rolled a 1.
Ooh, lucky you.
And I take another 5.
Okay. Now, remind me, White Raven, did we didn't destroy the other one before, or did we?
Who did?
Okay. What describe for us what it's like? Is there like a screaming? Is there a glowing? What happens when these are destroyed?
The phylactery. Yeah, I think it's a screaming sound hiss as like blue fire burns like outward from this thing and probably emits from this guy's chest a bit. And it's kind of a it sounds like the hiss of it escaping sounds eerily like a person screaming, like a death cry.
Cool. And as this death cry goes out, Anna or Pahan, you see people like rushing down the hall. They hear the screaming, they hear the banging. They're like, "Let us through, Anna! Let us through! What's going on?"
So Pahan sort of like spreads out her arms as Anna, and is just begins maybe drops the lantern dramatically and begin like moving towards down the hallway to sort of block people from being able to actually get to the room, and going, my poor brother has passed away. Oh, and is trying to sell people on the idea that perhaps he had some sort of terrible disease that has suddenly taken him, and trying to buy Ulf and White Raven enough time to get out of the room some other manner, so that this doesn't become a scene, and then possibly sneak away.
Okay. I'll let you have a roll to see if they get a few moments here. I'm going to have you roll on strength though, because people have heard a commotion, like they're not buying that it was just like a sudden heart attack or something, and so they're pushing past you. You're going to have to like physically hold them.
Oh boy, strength is not Bahan's thing. All right, here we go. That's a 4.
Oh, I think somebody grabs your arm. As a few men rush past you, somebody grabs your arm and kind of like pulls you to the side, and he says, "Anna, what are you doing here? What's going on? You could trust me. You could trust me. We have a bond. You promised in your vows you would always tell me the truth." What do you say to this man?
Shoot, that's her husband or her fiance. Well, did Bahan possibly overhear White Raven and Anna talking earlier?
If you think it's interesting to have a little bit of info, yeah, you can use that.
Maybe I just pull him into one of the other rooms, possibly just where Pathax is, and Pathax is just a turtle in the middle of the room. Pull him in there and just be like, I wanted to tell you, but what Horace, right? Horace is the barkeep. Yeah, Horace has been sick for so very long, and it's a family issue, and I really must leave now. I really can't stay here on Goatbridge any longer.
Go ahead and roll your charisma, and before we interpret your roll, let's get a look at the other guys. Ulf, do they find you still with your hand on the torch? Or when they rush into the room, have you...
I was going to propose, if we have time, that White Raven... I mean, I'm an outsider here anyway. She'll step out into the hallway, since that'll... I mean, they probably think this is on her anyway. And before I go out there, I tell Ulf to go out through the window. And I'll face this crowd.
So table knowledge, I'll let you take the full brunt of the 6- if you want. And Wolf can climb out the window. Is that what you're wanting?
Yeah, I'm thinking, that's better than us both getting caught there.
But
cool.
we just killed a monster, though. Are they going to be really that upset if we expose that it's a homunculus and not a person? If it was a person?
Well, I'm going to try to explain that. If you you can stick around. I was giving you opportunity to get out if you don't want to get caught up in this.
Well, I don't see myself adding anything positive to that conversation, so I'm just going to head for the door, and on the way, I'm going to try to sweep some of those scrolls into my bag and go out like the way I went in.
Okay. Yeah, you'll be able to do that. You probably get over to Pethax's window, or White Raven's window, and if you want, you can go in there, or you can use the tail to go down. What are you thinking?
Go down and see if I can rendezvous with our minstrel.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's take a look at White Raven then. So you're, you've got your hands up. You're trying to explain to them that there's a monster, and some of the men grab you and start tying your hands together. Are you going to resist that? They're shouting about.
It seems like an angry, dangerous mob at this point. I think I'm just gonna encase myself, freeze myself all over my body and freeze myself to the ground, so that they can't move me.
Okay, when you do it on yourself, you don't require a roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to speak? Are you a block of ice, or how does it look?
So I'm thinking I'm using the encase myself in ice, where I'm stiff with ice, but I can still talk, but it's slow and stiff. And then there's another one where I am freezing my feet to the ground, so you can't be moved.
Okay, and then is it just that chill? You just use chill for that?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. How many chill do you have left, out of curiosity?
Those puns give me one back, so I wasn't using it up when I was making those attacks. So I have 16. Then I'll knock off. So yeah, I guess I just that's the plan, is to continue talking to them, but make it very difficult for them to just move me.
Okay. So they continue to shout about this. What in specific are you saying? This is going to buy you a little more time to make an argument.
I tell them that I came from the north to rid this place of the undead plague that has befallen it. And I was here, and I protected the town when the flying skeleton serpents came. And I now know that it was the innkeeper who summoned those creatures to this place. And if they would look inside the room, they would see the damning evidence themselves.
Go ahead and roll Parley.
Eight.
Okay. Before we keep playing that out, let's see how Pahan's Parley went.
Not well. That was it was cleared out earlier, but it was a 6. It was 2, and I get 2 from charisma, but it's still a 6.
Okay. So he's like, I didn't know. Don't leave me. I mean, I'm sure the physicians can take a look at him, and we can take. There's so many herbalists here. You could be healed. And he like drags you by the hand into the other room where the arms lying on the floor, etc. And then he looks very coldly at you, and he lets go of your hand, and he says, "Bind her too." So they're starting to bind Anna up as well. He's implicating you in this. So you roll. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna just transform him back into base Pahan, and then shout out at Pathax to sort of bowl all of these people over. I'm done with these ignorant town folk.
So they're gonna bind you, and perhaps while you're being bound, this can happen. Let's resolve this other charisma roll before a turtle comes in and knocks everybody over.
Okay.
So it's a charisma roll from me or from
I had rolled an 8.
Okay.
The one from Black Raven.
Yeah. So
Okay, so somebody who seems to be taking charge, they're trying to bind you, but your hands are like frozen, like they can't get the ropes around you. He says, "You're some kind of freak, some kind of outsider. We don't like your kind here. And whatever you did to this poor man, and whatever you've done to these poor people in his room, you've got to stand trial. The judges will be here tomorrow. If you promise to stand trial, we'll watch you, but we won't bind you."
say I will not be judged by your kind. Only the Winter Mother can judge me.
Okay, so effectively that's refusing his immediate assurances, right?
Yeah, I think she's not gonna stick around to stand trial.
Okay. So Pahan, go ahead and roll.
Plus loyalty with Pathax.
Yeah, give him the command. So he's got loyalty 2 here, and then we'll cut to Ulf meeting up with the minstrel in a second.
So I got a 12. So Pahan, while they're binding up Anna, Pahan starts the skin as they tie the rope starts to do the roiling, boiling kind of quickly flipping through colors thing, and he starts to shrink, and it's just back to regular Pahan. Sort of looks at him and goes, which is whatever the turtle noises that Pathax makes, and calls out to Pathax, sort of like a crisis sound.
Okay, and so we see Pahan or Pathax rushing out of the room down the hall. He probably skids a little on the ice patch that has been made as he rounds that corner, but he gets to you, bowling everybody over. Are you gonna like climb aboard and him jump out the window, or what's the plan from here?
Yeah, I think everyone climb on board. We got to get back downstairs, and this is just not gonna go well. We've burned our bridges in Goat Bridge.
White Raven, are you going to try and hop on board?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll thaw myself. So I think I have to spend chill for that. Let's see. Oh no, I don't have to spend it to chill. I'm gonna thaw myself. Okay, so yeah, I'll just thaw myself and then try to jump on.
Now, I know this is magic ice, so does it thaw like really quickly then?
Yeah, I think. I mean,
Or is it pretty apparent that you're starting to thaw out? Are they going to have time to try and grab you, or are we just going to have a roll for you rushing over to the turtle to see if you can mount up?
Pahan could throw the rope around.
I think. I mean, you know, they're probably all around me still, so I think it's fair to say they have a chance to try to grab me. But you know, I do think it's a pretty quick thaw. It's kind of, especially on myself. It's kind of a.
So let's have you try and burst through them because there's more. Yeah, there's more of them immediately surrounding you. So that'll be with your strength to kind of knock some of them over and run to the turtle.
Right, that is a 7.
Okay. You're able to knock a few of them over. And you get to Pithax. One of them will have had a blade out and get you on your way over to Pithax. So take a d6 of damage.
It's a 2. Oh, armor applies to that though, right?
Now, Pithax can't like walk on walls or anything, right?
No, Pithax is not a super slow turtle either. Pithax can move, you know, at around the same pace as a human. So I think we're hightailing it out of this inn, and trying to figure out where Ulf and Roru what is it?
Minstrel, yeah.
Roru the Remarkable.
The Remarkable, yes.
Gotten off to, because obviously we've accomplished what we wanted to do, but it hasn't gone all that well, and we need to.
Okay. The only concern I have is this: you're on the second story, so are you just like? Is he just jumping out and taking the brunt of the damage for falling?
Well, I had to get Pithax up here. Yeah, maybe it takes a little bit longer on the stairs. I'm down with that. So maybe I'm in the back of Pithax and have pushed White Raven sort of to the front, and I'm sort of trying to fend anybody trying to come down the stairs off with my walking stick.
Okay, let's we'll cut back to that in a second. Then let's figure out what Ulf is doing. So Ulf, you've come around to the main area of the inn, and you'll see Roru there. He looks pretty panicky. Like, what did you guys do?
Are we alone in the room? Are we in the bar?
Yeah, it's just the two of you.
I think we should cause a distraction. I think our friends need help. I need you to run upstairs and yell that the building is on fire.
Okay, I think that falls under sway hearts and minds. So let's have you just roll. Roll plus quality, which is 1.
2d6.
Yep.
It's an 8. And then, as he says this, Ulf is going to hop behind the bar, knock all the liquor bottles down so they break on the floor, and look for a candle to throw on top. To really give Roru some motivation, some help in acting, to really sell that the inn is on fire.
Yeah, so none of you see him at this point because he's like at the top of the stairwell. But everybody hears him shouting, "There's a fire! There's a fire!" And yeah, there's no role involved with that. You get the place lit on fire, geez, you guys are destructive. A panic immediately sets in as you're facing off with these men in the hallway. Pahan, you've got your stick out, and then they see the smoke and they realize like this really is a fire. Some of them may like still try and grab at you for a moment or two, but everybody starts bailing out the windows to try and to get out of this burning building. Are you guys still planning on headed down the stairwell? It's clear.
I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, I think the stairwell is really the best way to get Pathax out of here. As much as, you know, jumping through a window on a turtle is a cool thing. I think trying to make our way down the stairs real quick, as quick as we can, is probably the best action.
I think the only obstacle in you guys getting out of this situation now is because there's kind of a panic. Really, you just have to get out without anybody recognizing you. So how are you guys going to get out of this building without somebody spotting you on the giant turtles and say, "That's the ones who did it all"?
I could cloak us in darkness, but then we're blind as well.
Pahan could try and disguise or obfuscate his own appearance or the around us with some sort of disguise. It won't be, I don't think anything Pahan could do would be like perfect from way up close, but from a distance it might make us look like maybe a donkey and a caravan, some sort of, you know, trading party leaving the town. But I'm open to suggestions.
Okay. Yeah, I think we could go either of those routes. I do want to avoid like rolling for one and then seeing if it works and then just trying again another way. So what do you guys think is more interesting? Casting a darkness on the whole area and wandering away, or trying to disguise yourselves?
Blinding ourselves inside of a burning building could end badly. So maybe we try. Maybe we try the illusion.
Is it safe to say that we at least get down the stairs?
Yeah. You guys are downstairs in the burning
Okay.
bar. Wolf can be there too if you want him to be.
Yeah, certainly. Ulf and Roru, and so we're all downstairs, and Bahan just murmurs, "I didn't want to go into the lizard camp, and I wanted to go to the undead market, but no, we have to kill the homunculus," and then starts sort of shaking his stick in this sort of rhythmic pattern in the air, trying to turn everyone, disguise everyone as sort of this, like, you know, trading party with a donkey, trying to disguise Pathax as a donkey with just, you know, big, heavy saddlebags full of goods.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and let's have that roll.
Sorry, that's a 7. So, I have to choose one, right? Isn't
Are you
that
reading the same move as me?
cast a spell, roll plus int, spell successful?
Oh.
Is that looks like the wizard cast a spell.
Yeah. It should be.
Hold on. That's okay. I got it pulled up here.
Yeah, I've got it.
That's all good. So on a 7 and 9, the spell takes effect, but I have to choose 2. I'm gonna take that. It saps my energy. I take -1 to int for a few minutes before I clear my head, and that it won't last long. We're gonna have to, make it straight break for the swamp.
Is it you choose to or I choose to?
The spell takes effect, but the actually there's a typo. But the choose to.
Okay, mine says the GM chooses to. All right.
Whatever you want to do, I'm fine with that.
Let's roll with the GM chooses to, and then we'll double check it later. I won't be terribly harsh.
That's fine.
I'm going to say that the whole appearance of the inn and everything changes so the inn to people looks like a caravan tent or something, like a circus tent set up. So it's going to be pretty obvious that somebody was casting spells and the like. Snowstorm in the middle of summer aside, it's going to be very obvious that whoever did this was using more magic. And then I think we'll have you take -1 ongoing to cast a spell until you have a few minutes to get your head.
That works. So yeah, I'm quickly sort of trying to do it, and turns into the whole circus tent, and not a precise art. We got to get going. We got to get going. We got to get going right now. Come on, come on.
Cool. So with this disguise, you guys are going to be able to get to anywhere in town you want, or all the way out of town if you want. What are you guys thinking?
And I want to give a White Raven any chance turn a key. Out the door on the turtle. We're on the back of the turtle together, like all 4 of us. Is that?
I don't know. Can you walk yet, White Raven?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Anyway, I look back and the bar's really catching on. I say, "Hey, White Raven, you could probably put this fire out with your ice magic, right?"
She kind of looks back and she says, that place is no place worth saving. Dark things have been done there. Let the flames cleanse it."
All right, let it burn.
I love that. That was such a simple but perfect scene for that key. So I take it you guys are headed all the way out of town, or are you guys gonna try and hide somewhere else around town?
Pahan is definitely going for let's get out of town because we burned the inn down and caused a blizzard and killed somebody. Yeah, we're definitely not welcome here. It's gone just as every other visit to town has gone for Pahan.
Are you guys in enough of a hurry that you're just taking the first road out, or are you guys actually going to stop for a few minutes and try and plan the direction you're headed?
Well, Ulf has definitely been our pathfinder in the past. What do you think, Ulf?
I think the most direct exit is probably the safer way to go about it. To get into the woods or into the swamp.
Cool. So maybe you guys head out of town for 30, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour, however much you guys feel like. And you guys are headed east towards the Everslow, the endless bog that is that White Raven is familiar with, at least, and Pahan has visited a few times. But let's take a little breather there, a quick bio break, like 3 minutes even, and then we'll be back. Well, you guys took a hard left. Not expecting any of that.
Well, I think we definitely left our mark on the world.
Yeah, I'm grateful that we're because of your time jump in that bathhouse. We are the group that's furthest ahead, so this isn't going to be weird for any of the other groups. It would have happened definitely afterwards, but some people are going to be very sad about you guys burning down the rat and monkey. That table,
a bunch of 7 to 9s there in a row, and this thing spiraled out of control. I'm sorry.
well, and you guys actually had a few 6 minuses in there to kill the necro, or to kill the thing was a 6 minus. There were a couple in preparation that were 6 minuses. Your command to the minstrel was a 6 minus. So, yeah. Well, what are you guys wanting to do?
The only thing I wanted to hit the alignment and drive for Pahan, and I wanted to maybe see the scrolls haphazardly packed into the back of Ulf's pack, and be like, "What are you doing with these? Where did you find these?" And try and understand what they are.
I just grabbed them on the way out of the homunculus room. I thought they looked valuable. Here, have a look.
These dark writings from the Dark Master himself. I must, take a look at these in a properly controlled environment. Hopefully, Yona made it out alive from our little fiasco, and could perhaps aid me in the future.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You guys didn't make it very easy to hook back up with Yona. We're gonna have to do some real interesting.
She was out
berries
or something.
Do you want to use your those who study history on the papers?
You could also use it. I have some old coins if you want to take a look at those.
Yeah, we could go with those who study history, because it's folklore about a place, culture, or artifact for the first time. That the implication there is that these are something that has traveled through time, that these are perhaps historical, or otherwise it's a spout lore. That's the difference.
Yeah, I guess then it'll be a spout lore for the papers but
the papers,
the coins.
Okay.
Yeah, those who study history. So it sounds like we're probably finding somewhere to make camp.
Yeah, I would think so.
We're gonna bed down and start studying. Let's have you guys roll to scout out a good camping spot. We'll make this a custom move. So on a 10 plus, I'll let you guys choose 3 qualities of the campground. Something like hidden, easily defensible, good source of water, something like that. On a 7 to 9, you choose 1. On a 6 minus, we'll find out. I think it'll be with wisdom to find a good camping spot, since you guys are still so close to Go Bridge.
Well, that should probably be Ulf or I. Maybe Ulf should go for
it. Probably you, because I'm confused right now.
Okay. So maybe this is a spot, or at least Pahan thinks it's a spot that Pahan has gone to before.
Okay.
So let's go for plus whiz. Oh, why? That's a 5. Oh, by the way, Pahan is totally leveling up with all these failed rolls.
I was gonna say you can use Swampwise from Pathax, but that still doesn't.
Oh. No, that pushes it to a 6. I mean, I could go for an aid to push it to a 7.
I can aid.
Yeah.
I've been in these parts as well. Okay.
Let's go for that. I'll happily trade the experience point. I'm already going to level up, so.
7.
Got a 7. Okay, cool. So that pushes the whole thing up to 7. I'm gonna say the consequence as you guys are searching through is the two of you are going to get bit by some mosquitoes. Let's just take a -1 forward to your next roll, as these are kind of irritating you. So that's Pahan and White Raven. And then who's going to manage provisions for the night?
Keep them cold.
I think Ulf has the most of all of the rations.
But I'm probably not the best. Well, I don't know.
Well, go for it.
I don't know swamps that well, so.
Just holding them or trying to collect more?
Oh, sorry. The managed provisions role is to see like how many provisions you guys have to consume as you make camp.
Oh, right. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
What are the other roles? There's scout. Are we doing we're just doing make camp?
Yeah, we're just doing the make camp part. So I'm going to double check. I believe it's with your wisdom, but I'm going to double check.
I don't know if there's any rolling at all.
Yeah, there is for
the Perilous Wilds.
Yeah, for the provisions. Sorry, my PDF reloaded because I was off the page for so long.
Roll whiz.
That's what I'm double checking, unless you pulled it up.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I have it up, but it'd take me ages to find it.
I'm pretty sure it's wisdom as well.
Managed provisions is wisdom. Yes, we were all right.
So I rolled an 8.
Cool. So the party consumes 1, so just roll 1 or use 1 for the day. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. You'll have rations, or do you need some?
I don't have many, but I'm very interested in those frogman rations. I'm going to
Did
take
we use some on our way from the gators to the Doe Bridge? I'm assuming we used a ration or 2.
Yeah, you were supposed to use 3.
I still have 3 frogman rations remaining. If they haven't spoiled, we could use those.
Yeah, they're good.
Okay, I'll just mark those 3 off, and there's 1 for each.
I already took 1 off for me, so you still have 1.
And for Pathax, unless you guys are in like not swampland, he doesn't have to. He can forage for himself in the swamp. Is what I'm saying. But if you guys go to like Alameen or somewhere else, the desert, then you'll have to feed him. Okay. All that to say, you are now bedded down, and you can make those investigation rolls that you wanted to do. Pahan?
So I think I might get more aid from Yona when I might hold off on that one. I'm interested in these coins, these 30 enamel coins that White Raven has.
Also got an old knife that is potentially from the same source. So maybe you should look at those together.
Are you good with that being 1 roll, or do you want that to be 2 separate?
Let's have that be 2 separate things.
Okay.
If all it is that you want to wait for Yona, we'll just let her aid, kind of like ghost-like, because she's going to meet up with you guys at the beginning of next session, and we're almost ready to wrap. So we can say she's here and just take a +1 as if she rolled a 7 to 9.
Okay, so I'll start with the enamel coins, which is I'm guessing I'm rolling plus wisdom, right? For the roll. Oh yeah, that's a 13 on those who study history.
Did you roll plus wisdom or intelligence?
Sorry, plus intelligence. Well, okay, so it's a 12.
10 plus, right?
Yeah. So 3. I remember something important from its history, something dangerous, something potentially useful. How to read the markings or speak the language. I'm interested in reading the markings or speaking the language.
Cool. So the markings on it are from the Old Empire. You definitely will have seen these around the swamp before. In fact, these kinds of coins you probably have seen before. They're from the Old Kingdom, and so they have lots of different princes and stuff. Kind of like how the Romans, all the emperors minted their own coins. But these aren't just like minted and stamped. They're actually like painted with enamel and stuff. They're like commemorative coins of specific victories and such. So you can read on them like dates and names of people.
What is something potentially useful or rewarding about them?
You would know that to the right person, either a collector or somebody who is part of the ancient kingdom, these will be quite valuable, more than 1 coin per 1 coin value per each.
All right, and then last one is something dangerous about it.
The only dangerous thing I could think of is that since they have, an intrinsic value on top of their weight, if somebody knew that you had them, that was the thieving type, they might try and rob you. But that's all I can really think of.
I'm really tempted to just turn to White Raven and go, useless tchotchkes. You should let me keep them. But yeah, no. I guess I joke with her a little bit about that and go, you should keep these close. They might be valuable at the market which we seek.
Cool. Did you want to roll for the knife as well?
Yeah, I'll take a look at the knife as well. And these were found in the same spot, White Raven?
Yeah. Well, we found a bandit. I think the knife came from a bandit who also had some coins, and then ended up getting more coins later.
Most intriguing. All right, so I'm going to reroll selected on that. 8. That's a 9, so I only get 1. Something potentially useful or rewarding about the knife.
The next time you have a necromantic ritual that you want to use, this'll be a great help for that. It's a necromancer's knife.
Okay, so Pahan passes that on to White Raven. That dark magic has been done with this knife. Evil things have risen from the dead, and this is an item of great power when it comes to a ritual. Do you wish to keep it, or do you wish to give it to me so that I may use it if it becomes necessary?
I will entrust you with it.
Your trust is not misplaced.
Cool.
Should I what should I call that? Necromancer's blade?
Yeah, however you want to label it. I think either after you use it or you have some further investigations at a later date, you might get a little more information about it. Let's just set watch, and then we'll end like we did a couple of days ago. We'll end on our watch roll for the night. So can we just say White Raven, Pahan, then Ulf?
Works for me.
Okay. Works for me.
All right. So, and the early morning hours, as Ulf is sitting up watching. Ulf, why don't you roll 2d6 plus nothing? Oh, you know, I better not forget him. Do you guys want Mr. Magnificent to take a watch, or Mr. Remarkable? Do you want him to take a seat in the watch order?
Not necessarily.
I don't know if he's
No.
proven himself quite yet.
Okay, that's fine.
I rolled a 7.
Roll the 7. You do a couple of rolls. Oh, come on, where'd my d12 go? Will you roll me a d12?
A3.
Okay. All right. So Ulf, what we'll end on is we'll end on your rat tail kind of moving on its belt or beside you, wherever it is. It moves slightly, and you hear some chittering and squeaking behind you in the distance. And we'll pick up there next session. Well, guys, you burned down the inn.
But it's a couple weeks in the future. Tell the other parties they really need to get in there before it all goes bad.
You guys have
Tell them not to go in there.
Yeah, let's hope they're not in there when you burned it down, huh? I was tempted, Brian, you might have appreciated this. I was tempted to put scissors in the inn as one of the people accosting you in the hallway. He was the character I played on the Sunday session last week. But, all right, let's do our end of session. Let's start with motives or drives and whatever they call those alignments. So Ulf, did you meet your drive?
My drive is to kill something from a distance. I don't know. Did anything die in the fire?
If you want to call them an enemy, I'm sure somebody died in the fire.
No, I don't think I want anything to have died in the fire, honestly.
Anna, the sweet innkeep, sleeping.
How about Pahan?
Does the necromancer's knife cause a secret or magic from long ago?
Between those and the coins, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I hit that.
And White Raven.
So I've been interpreting that to mean undead, and we did that.
Yeah, that counts. How about keys? Let's go in reverse for keys. So let's start with White Raven.
Sure. Yeah, I think.
It definitely burns.
Thank you, Ryan, for the assist on burning down the inn. I think that was a good symbol of civilization that I very literally destroyed. I think my unusual behavior created friction and distrust among civilized folk. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what I was kind of going for.
Yeah, freezing yourself in place instead of saying, "Yeah, sure, I'll let the constable judge me tomorrow."
Yeah.
I really thought you guys had a good case. I was surprised the way you took that.
I know. Well, I was trying to hit that key. Was part of it.
You got
I don't think I hit the third one.
Okay.
I mean, unless burning down the inn, these people are going to suddenly live more harmonious lives with the wild. But I don't think so.
Okay, so you get one for turning one of your keys, one for your drive, and then you gave one to Ulf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Pahan?
I think Key of the Trickster, because I convincingly masqueraded as someone when I was Anna. And I really went for, well, I don't know, because I'm not sure I convincingly masqueraded to her fiance.
You were able to pull her brother-in-law halfway back to the real world.
That's true. That's true. And then, gosh, I don't know if I went for anyone else's keys. Dwell in a place of beauty. Yeah, I'm not sure I really went for anyone else's keys. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I'd turn Trickster, maybe Key of the Mirthful on myself, but I only get one for turning my own keys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nobody was like instrumental in helping you turn that.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's go over to Ulf then.
I think I pulled off Reckless pretty well. And I was going for Cunning too. I can make an argument there. Plan to ambush the homunculus, and we got him, and we didn't take much damage doing it. We just kind of bungled the escape. So I don't think two wrongs make a right. What's the limit there? You can turn one of your own and one from another?
Yeah, so I changed it since we're using the alignments and drives now. You can get one from turning one of your own keys, and then you can hand out as many as participate with you.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so if you happen to turn all three of them and other people are instrumental, then they all get one XP each. But
well, I definitely think that White Raven was instrumental in turning the Key of Cunning, because we planned that ensnarement together.
Cool.
And yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome.
Whether or not I did it, yeah, definitely reckless, but I'm not sure I could, unless anyone can think of a way that I could hand out a key to them for that. Well, I don't know. Well, no. It wasn't as coordinated as it could have been.
Yeah.
We had a giant turtle mowing people down like bowling pins while I set the bar on fire, but it wasn't like a 1-2 punch coordinated maneuver so much. It's just,
I think that just like lighting it on fire was like a added layer of recklessness there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's do then the adventuring. So did we discover something useful, valuable about the world? Or discover something interesting, sorry, about the world.
Well, I mean, I guess the coins and the necromancer blade were interesting discoveries.
I'd say the homunculus was probably the more interesting discovery of all of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, for White Raven, it wasn't as much of a discovery, but I assume it was a discovery for the others.
Yeah, White Raven had faced one of these or another form of these before, so yeah, I think everybody gets that between the finding out what that dagger actually was and the homunculus. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Yeah. I think that homunculus is pretty notable.
Stabbed it in its glass heart.
mm-hmm.
Did we loot a memorable treasure?
Yeah, I got a handful of scrolls. I don't know what they do.
Yep. So that's 3 XP. And I will add that to Fiona. All right. Anything else you guys want to say before the cameras go off? Cool. We'll do kind of a roses and thorns then.